So why is it only 61.4% of the British people decided to vote in the last general election? 38.6% of the people thereby decided not to vote. Why was this? Well, there are many answers offered, but I for one would suggest that we don't have a truly representative political system anymore. What we have, or what we have ended up with, are people who are only interested in serving their power-hungry ambitions, are cocooned in Westminster and hamstrung by the party system in this country. This means we don't have representatives who take forward the views and desires of the people they purport to represent. When it comes to crucial choices in Parliament, it's the party leaders who tell the MPs how to vote, not the constituents telling the representatives what we want. Once elected, there is no mechanism for the voters to tell the elected MP their views on important matters and keep them to their election promises. At this election, what we currently have is a list of policies that does not entirely fit what the people actually want, and this leaves us with a feeling of frustration, and frankly, this isn't good enough in this 21st century of ours. Put another way, there isn't currently a mechanism to vote for one policy over another, but that granularity is important, very important. The truth is that once elected, an MP can by and large ignore his constituents. There is no mechanism to make an MP engage in a dialogue with the constituents on a regular basis. There is equally no mechanism to make an MP undertake a vote that is then carried through in Parliament that is approved of by his voters, no matter what the issue. This is plain wrong, and we need as a country to do something about it. And we can, as the expenses scandal has indicated, change can happen, and we must make it happen. Otherwise we're doomed to more mismanagement, corruption, and will disappear in a bureaucratic darkness. However, making MPs find out what the voters think on proposed legislation would mean that a two-way conversation would need to take place. But with the advent of modern technology, we have the means at our disposal to implement such a system and to ensure the views of the electorate are presented to the standing MP to instruct them how to vote on important bills. This would mean that the will of the people can be translated into the voting lobbies of Parliament directly and not altered to suit the party whips. This is a proposal we should give serious consideration to. After all, we vote all the time in this day and age, whether it's for the X Factor or for YouGov, online or by phone. We're used to having our say and recording our viewpoint. So why can't we do it on the biggest voting stage of all? Plain fact is it doesn't suit our current system of politics. Events such as 9/11 mean that politicians with the best will in the world will get blown or deflected from their true course, and they end up doing something different than we voted for. For example, a consequence of 9/11 was the DNA on the police database. When did we get a vote on the retention data of that? Where is that issue in this election? What has happened to our civil rights? It's no wonder that people don't turn up to vote. Despite its importance, our current system isn't serving the needs of the voters anymore, and maybe people have worked that out and decided to register a protest by not voting. I get the sense that people in this country are fed up and feel like they are living in a dark, powerless bureaucracy perpetuated by endless directives and guidelines from the very people who are supposed to represent us, the people. We have for years endured the blight of an authoritarian, autocratic Labour government which has provided an agenda of social change that has been relentlessly rolled out, with little recourse to acceptance by the British people. Maybe this has been borne out by the lower turnouts in the last two general elections. The people of this great nation are better than this, and in the end they will find their own way around these problems, and they will find a method of reminding those who choose to wield power in this country that they may not do so without the full consent of the people of this great island. By voting for me, be assured I would do my best to seek both the legislation and the mechanisms to ensure that your views are known at all times, and not just at election time. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this broadcast.